you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm sorry.
Ernst, I will decide whether I'm ashamed of myself or not, thank you. But I'm offering you an opportunity to separate. I'm offering you an opportunity to separate the two. That's why I asked the question.
Sure.
So,
Right.
should we...
This was a very heated debate. Oh, yo, guys, listen to this, okay? Let's get into it. Let me not talk too much. They will speak for themselves. But I was not expecting this one. I was not expecting it. You know? You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, let's take a listen.
As president, the Group AfriForum went to Washington. They said they were lobbying Trump's officials to work against land expropriation here. They then said they believed their lobbying had been successful. Ernst van Zyl is the head of public relations for AfriForum. Ernst, good morning to you. Do you believe this action by Trump is the result of the work of your organization?
Well, AfriForum has built up a massive list and database of friends and allies all across the world, particularly in the United States. And as soon as the Expropriation Act was signed by the president, we all informed them about the facts here in South Africa. So I do hope that we had a massive effect there. I mean, you can't really see everything that happens behind the scenes, but I do think AfriForum had a massive impact.
Man, sis, man. So something happens in South Africa, you go and run in America. Hi, you people.
Okay, so this money, $440 million US in funding for PEPFAR for South Africans living with HIV, is this the consequence you wanted?
I don't think that's particularly what Trump is talking about here. He's cutting off aid to many countries. He's pretty much disabled US aid in total. I think what he's talking about here is increasing punishment on South Africa, particularly regarding the Expropriation Act. And I mean, this has always been AfriForum's stance, that punish the politicians that push through these destructive policies, not the citizens of the country. That's always been AfriForum's stance. You can go check out all of our press statements on it. And I think what Trump is talking about here is future action rather than action that's already been taken.
But that's not what he said, Ernst. He says he wants to have an investigation. That's fine. He said he's cutting it immediately. He said things are happening to people in South Africa, a certain class of people. I presume he's dog whistling there, in fact, to his supporters. You're playing a very dangerous game here, and isn't the consequence that we've lost $440 million for people living with HIV?
Stephen, you are playing a very dishonest game here by saying that that's the direct result of what AfriForum is doing. Our direct result is getting under the president's attention the Expropriation Act. He was going to cut off aid to dozens of countries all across the world anyway. What he's talking about here is additional measures to combat particularly expropriation without compensation. The dangerous game is not AfriForum. The dangerous game is the South African government passing laws that directly attack private property rights in this country. And also the dangerous game is the South African government having 141 race laws on the books. Just 20 minutes ago, Elon Musk made a tweet responding to President Ramaphosa, asking him in his words, why does South Africa have openly racist laws? And Elon Musk is 100% on the money. That's the dangerous game. That's what needs to stop. And I'm very glad that the world is taking notice, finally.
Okay, but you said at the very beginning, that's why I asked the question, in case you did not think that this was the result of your work, that this is the result of your work. It would surely be foreseeable that this is what Trump would do. Yes, of course he is cutting aid to other countries. There was a waiver signed by Mark Rubio in terms of HIV treatment.
Separate policy, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're trying to conflate those two to create this moral panic around what's happening, to say that, look how evil you are. That's not true. What's happening is the South African government is threatening private property rights, and the US president is saying he won't stand for it. There's going to be additional measures, from what I can see, in regards to what Trump is announcing here.
Okay, there are various things going on here, right? One of them is that you have been to Washington, your organization. You're very proud of your influence in Washington, from what I can see. The second thing is that you have a US president now who talks about a class of people who are being treated very badly. Who do you believe he's talking about?
He's talking about the people in South Africa that are constantly attacked by the politicians for the color of their skin, the minorities that are constantly scapegoated for all the failures of the ANC.
These people sometimes they can make you angry, but I will come down, my guy. So are you telling me that Mr. Trump, okay, freezed whatever whatever amount it is, whatever fund it is, freezed it just because the rights of just a portion of people who are owning a property, portion of people who are owning property. He has done that just for a few people. Now, if he freezes or withdraws the fund that was helping how many people? Yeah, how many people? A lot of people were benefiting from that fund. And people were benefiting from that fund to assist or to help their health. People, what is going on? So you are telling me just you are in a good health, you are in a good health, you are in a nice good health, and I'm sure you are staying in a very nice house, a very nice beautiful house. All right? Trump stops the fund that is benefiting people who are benefiting for their health just for you. Just for you who are in good health. You are okay, and even if you can be sick, you will be okay because maybe you've got AIDS, right? What is wrong? Yo, guys, guys, these people, they can make you, why are you doing this? And he's proud that he went to America to, oh my goodness. Let's just say this fund was helping people maybe to keep 30 machines of people who are in hospital, and then Trump withdraws that fund, okay, that is supporting people in hospital who are sleeping in beds through machines. They are living through machines, and then he stops that fund, and then that fund that was assisting those people, in other words, in the few coming weeks, they will be dying. Or even in the, what are you doing, guys? Why do you think that oh my goodness me. Anyway, are you guys?
He's talking about the minorities that are targeted by the race laws on the books in this country. He's talking about those minorities targeted, for example, by policies or that you saw, for example, in DISCEM, where that internal memo leaked a few years ago, where the promotion and hiring of white people was completely barred by under threat from government fines. To try and ignore these realities is to push your head into the sand like an ostrich. They are there. There are people, especially minorities, being targeted in this country by legislation, and the government is open about it in their rhetoric.
You seem to be a little nervous about using the phrase white people. Why don't you just say it, Ernst? It's white people he's talking about in your view.
Of course it's white people.
Because it's not just white people, it's many other minority groups in this country as well, in particular white people. That's why it would be dishonest to say just white people. There's nuance here, Stephen. I mean, that's the whole point. That's why AfriForum says we are bringing the facts to the table. We're not a political party. If there's nuance, we bring the nuance to the table. I mean, do you have a problem with that?
Not at all. I completely understand nuance, and of course we see it in the leadership of AfriForum from time to time. The point here is that you went to Washington, you say you're so worried about the Land Expropriation Act. I'm sure it's a bill that you've studied many, many times. The fact is it talks about nil compensation in cases where land has been abandoned or is not being used productively. All of the experts I've spoken to who are neutral lawyers, they do not have a political agenda in any case, have all made the same point. As a result of the president's signing of the expropriation bill, now an act into law 2 weeks ago, virtually nothing is going to change. The US, in fact, Trump's government has the right to expropriate land in the public interest, and that's what this all talks about. Is it not the case that you've gone to the US and you've hyped everybody up, and this is the consequence?
No, that's a very disingenuous way of putting it, a very sneaky argument to put it even more bluntly. The issue is not expropriation with adequate compensation, as you see all across the world. The problem is the Expropriation Act enables expropriation without compensation. Now, you can play the little language game of euphemisms of nil and no compensation, but when your employer tells you, I'm going to pay you nil this year, or I'm going to pay you nil this month, I dare you to tell him, oh, I'm so glad that it's not no salary that I'm going to be paid. Nil is a euphemism for no compensation. It just means that the government is going to do their little sums, and then they're going to say, well, we've factored in our little our agenda, and that means our sums say you deserve nil compensation for your property. That is expropriation without compensation by a different name. And if your legal experts are telling you that, then they are absolutely politically biased and not playing an honest game.
All right, so Ernst, after all of this time, 30 years into democracy, right? No farms, no land has been taken without compensation. The point of this act is particularly for cases where land has been abandoned. This happens. I mean, it happens around the world where no one can trace the owner's passed on, there are no descendants. I mean, you'll be aware that this has happened. The fact is that government needs to do something about all of that. What you're doing is conflating this with other issues, making it a big story. To put it bluntly, and let's talk about what we're talking about. This government is not coming for the land of white farmers, is it? You don't believe that?
Well, this is the same government that pushed to enable expropriation without compensation through the amendment of the Constitution just a few years ago. They showed their hand.
But it didn't vote in favor of it in the end, did it?
Oh, wow. So, I mean, I'm calling it attempted murder, and you're saying, well, they didn't succeed in murdering anyone. I mean, that their intentions are clear. This is the government that said, after that failed in Parliament, ANC cadres went to the media and said, now that this opportunity has failed, we will use other avenues to get the same ends, such as the Expropriation Act.
Okay.
That is in the words of ANC representatives.
Okay.
So when it comes to what you're talking about here, should we only make noise after human rights have been violated, after the government has started expropriating without compensation farms? Or do you actually warn people that the government has granted themselves the power to do that? You act preventatively. You do not wait until human rights violations and atrocities have happened to say anything about them.
Okay. If President Trump phoned you now, and I mean, things happen, okay? You say that you're very connected. If Donald Trump had to phone you now, if President Trump phoned you now and said to you, look, have I done the right thing here? Should I restore this money to government because I'm worried about what's going to happen to the people who receive HIV treatment through this, and should I choose another tack to put pressure on the government? Would you say yes?
No.
Again, you're trying to disingenuously tie this to a
No,
completely separate policy regarding aid. No, you can't just say, well, this is now unique to South Africa when that's a completely separate policy. You're not playing an honest game here, Stephen. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm sorry.
Ernst, I will decide whether I'm ashamed of myself or not, thank you. But I'm offering you an opportunity to separate.
Conscience told you that.
I'm offering you an opportunity to separate the two. That's why I asked the question.
Sure.
So,
All right.
should we separate HIV funding and government pressure from Donald Trump onto our government? That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm offering you, in fact.
All right, Donald Trump is on the phone. What do I tell him? I tell Donald Trump exactly what we tell him in our letter to Mr. Trump. AfriForum's stance is that he should punish the politicians pushing through these destructive policies, not the citizens of South Africa.
Mister, you are speaking about politicians. He is not going to punish politicians. He's going to punish the people. What are you talking about punishing the politicians? The politicians, they are okay. The politicians, they go to sleep every night nicely, no problems. He is not going to punish politicians. What are you talking about? He is punishing the people. He has withdrawn the fund that is helping people. And you are telling me he's punishing the politicians. What are you talking about? You don't even know what you are talking about. He's punishing the politicians. Punishing politicians how? Because you cannot punish politicians. Huh? Anything that is happening in the country, if it's a program, if it's anything like that, it is supporting people. And if he's going to punish the politicians, he has to withdraw something that benefits the people. Punishing the... What are you talking about? You can hear that he even doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm very sure in the back of their minds, they know they've made a mistake. But they will not agree. They will not admit it because they are selfish. Why would you, what are they talking? I don't even think that they have advised him. And if they have advised Mr. Trump, they told him you can withdraw the fund. You know, they didn't even advise him and say, listen, we want you to do this, but please don't do anything that's going to affect the people. You can do anything else. Maybe, I'm sure, because the way he sounds like he told him to say, withdraw the fund. Punishing the politicians. You cannot punish the politicians because they are okay. They are in their own houses, very nicely protected. When they are sick, somebody comes, a private what comes and help them. You are telling me that you are punishing politicians. Now you guys are very selfish, man. You make us angry. That is why when people are getting in debates with you, they get angry because you are not thinking. You are selfish, thinking about your own self. Hi.
That has been AfriForum's stance for years, and it is still AfriForum's stance in 2025. That is the simplest way to put it, and the US is completely within its right, morally and practically, to put pressure.
Morally for who? Morally for you, my minority, only a group of people morally. I'm disappointed on Trump. And if these guys, they spoke to Trump and told him about the whatever expropriation, and they told him to freeze, and he did, I'm very disappointed. I don't care. I'm very disappointed because he didn't think for the people. He was thinking for these minority people. How do you make a decision, such a huge decision, to freeze a fund that's benefiting, I think, even thousands of people? Just for a minority people who are just complaining about something that is not even, I don't even think that it's going to be that huge. What is wrong with people?
On the South African politicians that are pushing South Africa to the brink of chaos and lawlessness, and pushing us to the brink of violation of the constitutional right to private property.
Okay.
And that's why AfriForum sees this as such a serious issue.
Okay, but he could still put pressure on our government and restore the PEPFAR funding, is my point. He could do that.
Sure, that's absolutely possible. I mean, AfriForum that's not part of AfriForum's stance that he should cut off aid. AfriForum's stance is that he should punish the politicians in action.
How is he going to punish the politicians when you guy? How is he going to punish the politicians? There is no other way, no any other way. Yes, he's busy saying punish the politicians. How do you punish the politicians? How? How do you punish them? By punishing the people, obviously. Why are you making me shout? That is why you guys, you are just you don't think. You are not thinking. He's punishing. You must punish the politicians. How do you punish the politicians? I'm asking the question. Think about it. How do you punish politicians? How? How do you sit there and think about an idea of punishing politicians without affecting the people? How?
Destructive policies.
And Van Sale, thank you, Head of Public Relations for...
That was very bad, my guy. I don't know what is your problem. I don't know, you AfriForum, whatever. I don't know what is your problem. You know? I really don't know what is going on with you guys. Okay? You don't even feel remorse. You don't feel bad. You don't be like, yeah. Because he's like, they are asking him, what if this thing is affecting people? Because what is done now, it's affecting the people. And then he's like, no, we don't support that. And then, but we wanted the Americans to punish the politicians. How do you punish the politicians? Oh my goodness. You guys, you don't think. I'm very sorry. I'm very disappointed, you know. Every time I would listen to AfroForum, and I would always accept that they are doing it for their own good, they are doing it for their own people. I would understand that. I would sit there and be like, okay, it's fine. Okay, I will give them the benefit of the doubt because we all know that it's all about them in everything that they do. But if you are going to step into a place where you end up affecting the people that you shouldn't be affecting because of your selfishness, then it becomes a problem. No. But if then Trump did what he did, it means he was influenced by you guys. He was influenced by you. And I don't know if he did ask you what to do. And if he asked you what to do, you told him you can withdraw the fund. How selfish is that? You are even picking a health place, a health department, a health program. How heartless are you? You know what? I give up on these people. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt in certain things, but I'm okay. I am done with them. They are just something else. They are selfish people. I am very sorry, but I just accepting. I am okay with these people. Okay. The interview, you were not supposed to even come here because you don't know what you're talking about. Whatever you are trying to justify, it's not even working. And you are getting angry. The guy is challenging you. And you are getting angry. You are all over the place. What is wrong with you people? Hi, man, guys, man. Anyway, guys, listen. This actually disappointed me. All right? I was happy that the journalist who came onto him. He came onto him. He was not being nice. And he was not responding. And I'm like, no, you need to punish the politician. What are you talking about? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you can subscribe. You can like the video. You can tell me in the comments what do you think. Please don't insult each other. All right? If you do, I will deal with you in the comments. I will block you. I will go and I need to go and check my comments. Sometimes I forget. And if I find you using some languages, I will block you. In this channel, I'm not about views. I'm not about you getting here and then using some languages that are not paid. You see, you got me in a wrong... Anyway, it's fine. You can go, guys, and comment, and you can like the video. Thank you so much, guys. You can also go and watch the full interview on Newsroom channel. So you can go there. I will put it in the description. You click that, it will take you there, and then you can listen again. Okay, maybe I'm being harsh, maybe I'm being unfair, but what I've heard, it's not good. Ladies and gents, I am out.